Welcome everyone to the 2025 Property Market Webinar. If you tuned into this session, we truly believe that you are going to be even more successful after this. We've got a property expert, plus you want to stay tuned right until the end because there's a diversified income opportunity waiting for you. With that said, I want to introduce our first expert speaker. With me, I've got Troy Oakley. Troy, welcome.
Well, thanks very much.
So, Troy, you've got a fantastic resume, and people need to understand how valuable this session is going to be. So, Troy is the head of sales for KZN Nedbank. Troy has more than 27 years experience in the banking sector, including 18 years specializing in home loans. Troy holds an MBA from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and then you did your further studies as an executive development program with Stellenbosch University.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Just on the family side, 3 kids, right?
3 kids, yeah.
And tell us a bit about the sport love that you've got.
Look, I've got a love for enduro motorbiking. I mean, KZN's got the right weather, right climate, right terrain for it. So, love the outdoors. So, yeah.
Very good. So, I'm also a sports fanatic, if you were wondering. So, episode 2 in the chat, you can start making comments if you really want to know more about sports. We'll do an episode 2 specifically on sports for you. That's where our passion lies.
Oh, 100%.
But that's not why we're here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here and we've worked on specific questions that we believe will be relevant for you, and it's going to make you more successful. So with that, I'm going to jump right in. But question 1 for me, Troy, I mean, if you think about the top of a house, let's compare that to the property market in South Africa. I want to understand how big is that roof, the top of the house? How big is the market?
So if we look at it, I mean, the opportunity in South Africa, the residential property market is 7.3 trillion. It's 7.1 million homeowners. I think for your guest on the webinar, I think we should look at the KZN Eastern Cape area so that give them a better understanding of what their size of the opportunity is. KZN currently contributes 12.2% of the overall, which is 890 billion in rands in opportunity and just under 1 million home users. So that would be the size of the market in KZN. If I look at the Eastern Cape, it's slightly different. They've got a lot of property owners in the market, over 10%, but the value in the Eastern Cape tends to be a little bit lower at 40 billion. So not the wealthiest of the province, sitting in obviously 4th position. KZN is comfortably in 3rd. Gauteng obviously leading the way with Western Cape in a very aggressive coming up 2nd. But still, the opportunity is still very big in those 2 provinces.
And it is massive. It's a conversation that we've had.
Oh, no, it's massive. I mean, we're looking at 46% financed under roof. So you've got 54, which is bond free, and you've got about 46% of the market where the opportunity lies in being financed properties. Yeah.
So if they in this webinar, they're in the right session.
If you're in this webinar, I think we could give you a few golden nuggets to how to look at your market, see what is available for you. Yeah.
Okay, and that's what we want to get. The next question that I want to move on to is, if you think about the market split, if I think about affluent clients and lower income clients, I want to know how that is split. And the reason why I'm asking this, like, if you think about where and how people are positioning them, I'm hoping to get the audience to see, am I focusing on the right things, or do I need to start thinking about a different market?
Yeah, so I think it's very important if you're in the real estate market and which area you're working in to understand how the market's been split. We've got a 1% anomaly that we don't really know, but only 11% is your affordable market, your low end of the echelon. I think a lot for me, the biggest focus should be on your middle to your high value home loans. I think that's where you pick up majority of the percentage. You're probably looking at about 57%. Opportunity, your Lux is obviously coming in at about 23 and your Super Lux at 10%. So if I was in the market, I would definitely be trying to play in the bigger percentages, which would be your middle to your higher end purchases.
Play the numbers game.
You've got to play the numbers game to get the percentage return. I think that's important.
Okay. I want to pivot a little bit. If I think about major factors that influence the property market, can we move there so that we paint that picture going forward?
So, I think for me, we obviously got to look what moves the market. I think one other point I wanted to make with the agents is what type of properties are being sold. So is the move happening in your freehold? Is it sectional title, your developments, that kind of stuff? I think we got to understand that majority of the property sales are still happening in your freehold, with 65.6% happening in that area. And then you've got your sectional titles at 16.7%. The new upcomer where you need to be looking out for is your freehold in estate living. I think it's cruising up a lot faster. The growth is coming out a lot higher than sectional title, but it's still at 15.6%. So those are little keys I would like the guys to focus on. To your point around what's influencing the market, I think we've got to look at things like the interest rate. Those are big factors in the market. Consumer sentiment, there's another big factor in moving it. What is our local council doing with infrastructure, service delivery? Are they delivering on that kind of stuff? So those are the big factors I think that move the property market.
So I don't stay in KZN. Do you want to comment on the local market?
Yeah. So look, I mean, if I look at KZN, I mean, it has had a lot of issues over the time. I mean, we've had poor service delivery. We had the riots in July, I think it was 2021, when the Zuma got arrested. The province went and rioted. That was quite a knock. Service delivery hasn't been of the best. We've had a lot of E. coli in the sea. We've knocked out our tourism, but yet the KZN market is still resilient. And when we get later on in the discussion, I'll show you that yes, the market has taken a hit, but the resilience is still there. So there's still massive opportunity, even though we've had these adverse things.
So well done to the KZN people, and well done to everyone on the call, because I mean, you guys are contributing to that resilience and staying out there and telling the positive story
and making it happen.
Making it happen. If I think about the property market, am I right in saying it's got cycles?
Yes.
Okay, so if we think about it running in cycles, can you please take us back, let's say 5 years, maybe just post-COVID, take us back and paint that picture for us. Hopefully there's something that we can see a trend going forward, and obviously we want to speculate a bit, but we want to try and predict the future to the best of our abilities.
So a little learning from the past to see.
Yeah.
So you're definitely right. The property market has gone in cycles. I've just put a slide up now to illustrate what happened coming out of post-COVID. So I think we all got stuck in COVID, and we came out and we saw phenomenal growth in the property market. As soon as we got out of COVID, I don't know if everyone wanted to change houses or buy bigger or change lifestyle, so they didn't have to have spousal comments, so they wanted a bigger house. But anyway, we saw a massive lift in the property market. The consumer sentiment, I mean, everyone was pumping. We were doing well with the foreign currency. It was probably at a low at the time. But as the years picked up, the CPI, which is obviously the key measurement for inflation, was ticking up. And with it ticking up and the currency depreciating to the US dollar, starts putting the MPC in a position where they wanted to lift interest rates. So as soon as you start lifting interest rates, you can see through the end of 2021, we started getting interest rate hikes. Through 2022 into 23, we had 10 hikes in a row of interest rates going up. So we started at 7 to 7.25, and I think by the end of 23, we were sitting at 11.75. So when you've got interest rates jumping over 4%, it obviously tightened up the market. Consumers obviously stopped spending. The property market started retracting. So all that hard work coming out of COVID tended to be withdrawn. I think once we got inflation in 2024 but under control, the rand did stabilize. I wouldn't say it came down, because a lot of the slides reflect it didn't come down. The MPC got a little bit more confident to start reducing the rates at the end of 2024. So we started seeing rates dropping. They could have done a lot better, but they didn't. They've obviously dropped us a few points. I think prime now is at 10.75, and we've started seeing consumers come into the market. So I think to grow the market, we need interest rates to drop. That's the bottom line.
Okay, it's a good call out. We can see that you did your MBA and that you studied further at universities. There's lots of figures thrown around here.
Yeah.
If I take a pause, I mean, if we say, that said, what is the property market performance looking like since 2020 to 2025?
Okay, so if we have a look at it and we take the inflation into account, I mean, we're up to 2.6% growth. I think what's interesting to note is obviously your higher value properties gave you the better return. probably just stretching over 3.6%. Your middle came in at about 2.8% towards the end of 24. And then your lower obviously came in at 1.8%. So nothing significant. Look, we had massive growth. If you look at the slide just after COVID, where the property market was booming,
Yeah.
I mean, when everyone's buying, then obviously the seller's price is going up. But you can see it tapering off as the interest rate cycle grabbed a hold of the market. But yeah, so currently at the moment, you've probably got inflationary return, I would say probably on average about 2.5% is what you're going to get on your property growth.
And do you think that gives us an indication for those listening where they should be focusing? Can you make that assumption?
Look, I think you've got to look where the market is active. I think you've got to look at which part of the market is active, and you've got to obviously keep an eye out for certain growth nodes that are happening in the areas that you're in, and make sure you are there when those growth nodes are happening. It's a little bit more complex if you've got your business strategy going, or if you would move markets. But I think there are nodes in every province that have got good growing developing areas and are seeing high returns.
If you feel overwhelmed, it's okay. Please ask questions in the chat. As a reminder, again, we've got our expert moderators that can help us with that.
Yeah.
I want to start moving to the close. This was like really insightful, but I want to figure out positive growth areas that you see in the next 5 years. So we've taken this roof and we've said, okay, what happened in the last 5 years? What's the future holding?
So I think obviously for a good future, I think a few stars have got to align. I think we've got to continue with the interest rate reductions. I think that's important. I think inflation's got to stay under control. There's a massive amount on government that we need the right infrastructure spend. I think local councils have got to play their part and make sure on service delivery, so that, I mean, we talk about potholes, but I think it gets a little bit further than that when it's your sanitation, your water, the provinces are running effectively, or the municipalities. So, I mean, if I look at, just to give an example, if we look at KZN, I think the North Coast at the moment is absolutely booming. There's massive infrastructure spend, there's massive development spend. I think they're getting it together where people want to be there. It's becoming the economic hub of KZN. The airport's on the doorstep. Belito thinks it belongs to them. Umhlanga thinks it belongs to them. They're both 15 minutes away from the airport. But if you look at the developments that are going on in that area and the opportunity of lifestyle that the developers are offering. So from a beach hotel to a farmland security, there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of spend happening. And I think that's driving the positive sentiment with the consumers in that market. The local government is now talking about 2 new harbours down the south coast. So we're starting to see a lot of interest happening again going down the south coast. So maybe
create excitement.
They're creating the excitement. So Hebridean's thinking they're getting a harbour. Scottborough wants a harbour. But it's giving opportunity to the workforce that is then obviously engaging more people into the market. So I think it's important that you just got to know what's happening in your market and then seeing if you can adapt into additional markets. Let's put it that way. Yeah. For the guys in the Eastern Cape, look, the garden route's always the golden gem. They are experiencing a lot of the semigration that's moving in there. I think George is well positioned with their infrastructure, schools, the medical. They've got a lot of stuff happening there. A lot of people are looking on the George area. And then obviously the rest of the garden route seems to be doing quite well. We would need to see better spend in the Eastern Cape for PE, East London, from an infrastructure point of view from government to help get those markets moving. So employment is key to also getting more people into the property market.
Okay, you've painted a fantastic picture. Let me ask you a closing question. So imagine one of the people on this call, you're having your third cappuccino with them, sitting like that one-on-one conversation, that in-depth conversation. What would your advice be to that person?
So if I looked at the past 5 years, I would say you've got resilience if you're still in the property market.
High five. You're paying for the coffee.
You paid for the coffee. It's been a tough 5 years. I think the positive straws are coming out. We've seen it at the end of 24. The property market is moving in the right direction at the moment. And I think you've done the hard yard. So going forward, I think there's a brighter future. We're on the drop of an interest rate cycle. So we are going down, providing America and Iran and the rest of the world behave themselves. We could possibly see further rate reduction. So I think my advice to them would be, if your phone's not ringing, start dialing, get engaged into your market, start speaking, because the market is moving. And I think you've just got to make sure that you are tapped in and engaged in the market.
Troy, this has been very insightful for me, so thank you very much. I am very confident that the audience found a lot of value. Troy from Nedbank, you did a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I told you that promise in the beginning about the passive income opportunity that awaits you. Let me take you through that opportunity. I told you about a passive income opportunity, and I want to run you through this. I think it's a great value add to you. If you think about your profession, and as part of your profession, question is, are you accredited to provide financial advice? And thinking about the legislation and what legislation actually means from a financial advice point of view, it's almost the boring stuff, if I'm honest. The question would be, do you have a clear understanding of a financial advice? There's a section 3A, it's boring. What is defined as a financial product? There's legislation to that. What's needed to comply? If you think what's needed to comply, it's legislation, it's fit and proper status. And then I think the important question is almost like, what does non-compliance mean? The scary thing is, non-compliance means either a 10 million fine or 10 years imprisonment. Okay, with that, don't leave just yet, because we can take care of that. We can take care of all the legislative risks. If you think about why it makes sense to collaborate with Old Mutual, we call it an independent contract agreement. It's basically a referral agreement. So there's opportunities if you have access to customers and you're looking for a diversified income and you want to enhance your customer's value proposition. If you're looking for those three things, keep listening, because I want to explain to you what is an independent contractor. Independent contractor is a referral agreement where you've got access to customers, we've got expertise, plus we take care of that legislative risks. So you link one of our financial planners to one of your customers. They do fantastic financial planning. They're going to help you bolster your value proposition to your customers. So hopefully you're interested in how do you do that. So I'm going to explain to you how we do that. But the real value, why you need to listen to this, is the diversified income. And what does that diversified income mean? If I think about building a second income stream just because I've got access to customers, that's an opportunity. That's a gold mine that you want to keep sitting on. So I want to take you guys through how this referral agreement will work. There's new business commission that you can get paid on, and there's monthly fees that grow and continue in the future. So if you think about that build, I'm going to take you through an example now. And this is where you're probably sitting up right now and saying, this is the one slide that I need to understand. What does this diversified income mean practically? So let's take an example of 5 leads. You might have many customers, but you just need to give us 5 names for short-term insurance. I'm only using short-term insurance as an example. That'll be your home insurance, car insurance. 5 leads a month at 1,500 Rand monthly premium. A lot of our customers we actually see pay more than that, but for conservative sake, we work on 1,500 monthly premium. So let's say after 12 months, per month, you could be earning in excess of 4,000. Reality check, this is not a short-term win. This diversified income opportunity is where you make money in the long run. But you maintain that relationship with us. We bolster your value proposition, like I said. So let's use that analogy of 5 leads a month. You maintain that relationship for 5 years without any escalation. So this is as conservative as the calculation can be. 5 years time, 20,250 Rand a month. Now, who wouldn't be interested in that? You are sitting on a gold mine because you've got access to customers. All you need to do is build a relationship with a financial advisor or financial planner in Old Mutual, sign that agreement, and give the referral leads through. I want to take you also through, I said that there's an enhanced value proposition. What does that value proposition mean? So that's where your customer becomes in a better financial situation, you can be in a financial situation better as well. And that's the value proposition that we want to share with you. And on the one hand, from a value proposition, it's very, very simple in our world. You build wealth and you protect wealth. It's all about that fine balance that you want to get to. And once you've got that enhanced value proposition, what we do is we do financial planning, so we can help you or your customers to draw off a tax efficient estate plan. We can determine the appropriate retirement vehicles. We can look at wealth creation. So we spoke about wealth creation and protection. On wealth creation, it could be, where do you want to invest your money? If you're not only investing in property, there's alternative ways as well to invest for your customer. What is the best way to actually build that creation of wealth? And then on the other hand, I think place where I'm really passionate is about protecting wealth. And protecting wealth could be in your personal capacity, it could be for your business, but really it's all about having that balance in that financial plan. And that's what our game is. We look at your goals, your dreams, we work out a plan, and we help you to be accountable in that plan. How do we further bolster that value proposition is with our resources and our specialist resources that we've got. So I think the two things that I want to mention is the industry leading estate planning experts. We use our legal advisors. They are accredited to give financial advice. They do not come at a charge. So they are free. Think about a legal advisor. The value in doing a proper estate planning could be between 10 and 15,000 Rand. That's the value that you are taking to your customers. Think about sticky customers. That's really what we're all after. You want to add more value without any cost. And if you can get that recipe right, you're definitely on the right track. And then we've got access to industry-leading experts. If you think about healthcare, employee benefits, it could be short-term insurance, you might know it as HRA, risk or bond cover, investment solutions. All of those experts sit within our space, and we're willing to share that with you. All you need to do is sign the agreement with us. And then another conversation that I think you can have with your customers is succession planning, or this continuity. And we see so much value in having this conversation with your business owners. And it could be signing a buy and sell agreement. And it's very simple. If one of the partners pass away, what's happening to the shares? But unfortunately, we see so often that those agreements are not in place. And that's why succession planning cannot happen. So it's a simple contract that we put in place for the customers to make a massive impact when life happens. It could also be there's a bond or loan cover. There needs to be business contingency cover to make sure that the bond is covered in the event of death or disability or even an illness. And then lastly is about the key person. If you think about succession planning and the companies, there's normally that one person, that key person. Make sure that you protect that person, because you want that continuity going into the next chapter of the business. And then I want to wrap up. I mean, 3 things that I want to leave with you guys. The value of an independent contractor is Old Mutual take care of the advice and the legislative risk. And I've told you about the imprisonment if you do give advice and you're not accredited. We take care of that. The contract that you sign is also with Old Mutual. We bolster your value proposition because we've got the knowledgeable and credible partners. And then I think if I just stopped at one thing, it's diversified income. What's in it for you? It's building a diversified income over time. You are sitting on a gold mine when you've got access to customers. I want to thank you very much. And you might have the question, how do I get in touch to sign this independent contract agreement? All you need to do is look in the chat, look at the QR code that we're going to produce on the screen, sign up and speak to your financial Old Mutual advisor. They will get in contact with you, start building that relationship. I do want to give you one last sneak peek of how we had the conversation with somebody that's very good and very successful in your industry and actually uses these referral agreements to build a passive income stream. Over to Troy.
Over the past 15 years, I've used a number of financial consultants that would assist my clients with all the necessary financial related services, and I found myself changing companies every few years due to a level of service I was not happy receiving. It was about 2 years ago that Joe and Louis came to my offices to introduce himself, and I never thought much of it until about 6 months ago that I contacted him to meet up and discuss what he can offer myself and my clients. 6 months down the line, and needless to say, I'm so happy that I decided to give his practice, Van der Riel and Associates, a chance, as he has also worked wonders with my clients. I've only received very exceptionally positive feedback from all my clients that have consulted with him, and he just has a way with clients to offer service over and above what I've experienced in the past. Their turnaround time and efficiency ultimately for me speaks volumes. He doesn't only offer a wealth of knowledge and guidance to my clients, but he genuinely puts the client's best interests at heart and goes over and above to ensure they are financially secure and correctly covered. I feel too many others only worry about selling clients a substandard policy with very little interest and care shown, whereas with Jean-Louis, his main concern is building and ensuring long-term financial freedom for clients. His practice and his associates are very well educated and knowledgeable, and has been an absolute blessing working with them. At the end of the day, I know my clients are in the best possible hands, and that is what ultimately matters for me. Thank you to Jean-Louis and to Van der Riel and Associates for your devotion and commitment to each and every client I've sent you, and I look forward to walking a successful path with you for many more years to come. All the best.
Hopefully you've seen now that Troy is very successful in the industry, plus is very successful at creating a diversified income stream. With that said, thank you so much for joining the session. We hope you have a fantastic day. Cheers.